I feel sick. This was a series that I had such high hopes for, but it ultimately just left me down. It just kicked me while I was down on the ground, and I wanted to like this. The first few episodes, I loved it, and I was hooked. I wanted to do this as part of a Halloween special because I really wanted to do about a week worth of reviews, where every single day, except for the Tuesday and maybe a day if I'm busy or something, I wanted to put up reviews of different horror movies, of different horror anime, and just talk about different things. I still have some more to put out there, hopefully before Halloween comes out, but this really ruined it for me. It was 12 episodes long, and I just wanted to breeze through it because it's only 12 episodes, but it took me a week to watch just because I didn't want to keep watching it. I didn't want to drop it either because it looked like it might be really good. It had pretty good reviews on other places, like moderate, average, you know, like 7 or 8 different places, so yeah, that's relatively good reviews, and I thought it might get a little bit better, and it does. Episode 12, it gets better on episode 12, the last episode, how about that? So, this series as a whole, it sounds like it will be something that will be amazing. You've got an immortal vampire samurai from the past who travels into the future. He's got some sort of revenge thing going on here. It's animated by Madhouse. It was originally a novel, turned manga, turned anime series, and somewhere along the way, I hope that they drop the ball. I hope that this is a series where they just start making shit up halfway through just because I'm interested. I would like to read the manga or check out the novel or something like that just because I like the concept, but if the story's the same, if they did an accurate translation of the novel or manga into this anime, then I'm done. You know, I would not get back into that or anything, but this was enough really for me. So in the first few episodes, it was just a joyride for me. So in the beginning of this series, we meet Kuro, who is a monk that's traveling with either his companion or his student or his servant up to this building where they heard rumors of, I think, evil spirits or something. I'm sure I'm going to get a few of the details wrong about this because I honestly feel that this is a series where reviewing it does not require all of the fine details. Long story short, he goes into the building, he meets this woman there, and it turns out that they have a bit of destiny together with each other. It's their fate to be together, basically, and it turns out she's actually a vampire, or some sort of equivalent of them in this series, where she eventually drinks his blood. They fall in love with each other. She drinks his blood, they share blood, and he becomes an immortal with her. He becomes a vampire, so they're both feasting on blood, and then as you are getting into the story, as you're getting into the characters, they get attacked by these samurai, which some of them are monsters, some of them look somewhat like humans, and there's an awesome fight breaking out. The animations in the fight were absolutely amazing. Almost throughout the entirety of the series, this has amazing animation in the fights. And then it skips us forward to an alternate present/future time where he's without her and he's trying to uncover what happened to her and he's trying to find her, and the same people are after them again, except for they've evolved a lot. They're now like an army instead of a samurai. Well, they were still a samurai army, but they're now like a modern army with armor and guns and tanks and stuff. So they're still searching after her and searching after him too to try and get him because he has this special blood within him that can grant immortality, obviously. And it turns out that, well, I'm not going to really get too much into the story, but basically in the first third of this series, he's trying to search for her and find her, but also he's having this little crisis where he doesn't really remember much, and then eventually that turns into some sort of existential crisis with him. And I mean, the first 5 episodes are a definite must-watch for anybody out there. If you don't mind dropping a series, then definitely check out at least like the first 5 or 6 episodes of Kurozuka, and then I mean, the last episode was good, but everything else in between is really kind of pointless. So giving a little bit of credit to Kurozuka, this is one of those series where if you watch it, you will uncover more about it, and it's possible that you will learn new things by watching it a second time. There's a lot of twists, and you learn new things, and then at the end it kind of goes full circle again, which I actually like that, but it was just everything in between, which is the majority of the series, which was bad. Okay, so just picture this with me for a second here. You have an anime series, which is being created by a studio which creates some of the most beautiful artwork in anime, and they're making a series about 2 vampires that are in love, and they're immortal, and they're going through time. They're starting off in ancient Japan, where it looks absolutely beautiful, where they're putting all of these detail into the fights, into the clothing, the beautiful kimonos, and the beauty of the nature in the area, and it's really amazing in the beginning part, and then it's only 12 episodes long, so you would picture that it's going to have a nice budget that's consistent throughout the entire series, because usually sometimes you'll have a 24 episode long series or something even longer than that, and there are times when the animation drops here, so being shorter is definitely a plus, and you would expect something really great out of that, but no. So when I picture all of that, I do not think about one of these badass characters taking about 10 minutes out of his time to talk to some old man in a hover-round in the middle of the street in Japan and dump his bag of shit piss into the middle of the lake. I would not expect that. Okay, so on top of having the main characters be completely boring and lacking personality or depth to them, you're continuously getting new characters thrown at you that are completely boring and new plot devices tossed in there, maybe a quarter of the way or a third of the way into the series, and then you finally get to that big reveal, and I feel like I wasted my time, honestly. I wish that I had never watched the series, or maybe I wish that I had knew how I would feel about this after, 5 episodes and just watch those 5 just for the experience, because the first 5 episodes are actually really nice, and then just dropped it there, and then I could have went on to something else, and I could be reviewing something now that I actually really liked. Now, moving on to the presentation, the art style, I've spoke about that enough. It's absolutely beautiful. The fights in the beginning half of the series, I did notice that they were animated a little bit better than the fights at the end of the series. I assume that Madhouse just thought that everyone had went to sleep or dropped the series as a whole by then. The fights in the last episode were really good, but then there were other fights where they were just slashes, flashes, and reactions. That was pretty much it. However, in the first episode, you would have Kudo who would just do handstands on people's shoulders and twist around their neck, cutting their heads off, and doing all sorts of crazy stuff like that, which you didn't really see too much at the end. Okay, so as far as the audio goes, I actually like the soundtrack to this, and as far as the opening goes, I like that as well, because it was sung by Maximum the Hormone, which also did songs by Death Note, so I'm sure everyone's familiar with those. But as far as the voice acting goes, they also did a pretty well job there. It's not like it was really that much of a challenge for anyone to voice act any of these characters, because they're all like this the entire time, or maybe they got mad once or twice, but that's pretty much it. So my overall score of this series, and I'm trying not to be too subjective here, I'm trying to just accurately rate this and not put how I feel into this too much. I would give this a 6.5. Some other people may give it a 7, but I would just give it a 6.5. I didn't really enjoy it that much. I'd recommend watching the first few episodes, but who wants to just watch a few episodes with no conclusion to the story? Anyways, I want to know about this. If you've seen the manga or if you've read the novel to this, let me know about that in the comments section. How does this compare? Are either of those much better than the anime? I want to know, because I actually like the potential here. And actually, if you remember my Q&A, and also I did a video a long time ago where I talked about if I could make a shonen series, it really reminded me of some of the themes that I would have put into that, and that's one thing that I really liked about the series, but the execution of everything overall I didn't really like. So I'm just tired of talking about this. Let me know your thoughts about it in the comments section below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later.